everyone. My name is Kimberly Grace. Welcome back. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, I thought I would ask my mom some controversial questions, and she has a microphone. She chooses not to be on camera. Say hello.
Hello.
And today, this is going to be really interesting. I told her I had some questions, but I didn't tell her what kind of questions. So, yeah. First one is, are you a Christian?
Yes.
Okay. Would you say that you being a Christian influences your answers on certain questions? As
Yes.
okay. First real question is, what is a woman? Give your best definition.
A woman?
Yes.
You were
What
born female.
Okay.
You grow up and you become a woman. A woman. I can't tell.
And what is a man?
You're born a male and you grow up and you become a man.
What about trans men or women? So
Uh,
would you say that a transgender woman, which would be a male to female transition, is a real woman?
no, because God didn't make you that way.
And vice versa for men as well.
The same answer. No.
How do you feel about trans men going into men's bathrooms and trans women going into women's bathrooms?
I don't agree with that because there's kids. Just like you wouldn't want a man go in the bathroom with your female daughter.
Even if they have fully transitioned top and
No,
bottom surgery.
absolutely not.
So you do not agree with a biological male that is now presenting and socially and medically transitioned into a woman going into a woman's bathroom.
No.
Do you think it would be safe for them to go into a man's bathroom if they are physically looking like a woman and they have medically transitioned into a woman?
Probably not because people are stupid.
So where do they go to the restroom?
They should make one for both, like a unisex if you choose to go to that one.
Like a family bathroom that is
Kind of, but you
accessible in
choose.
most.
Right.
Okay. Um, if you had to pick one, would you say you are more Democrat or liberal, Republican or conservative?
I don't know. Maybe conservative. I don't know.
Okay, so you would say conservative. Okay, do you think that younger generations, such as millennials, Gen Z, and Gen Alphas, are more sensitive than
Yes,
previous generations?
absolutely.
Okay, what are your views on feminism?
What do you mean?
Um, Feminism, first of all, there's multiple different waves of feminism. The original thing was that we all are equal, like we can be different, um, but we are all equal in the eyes of the law. And like now it's gone to the third and fourth wave of feminism, which is more so empowering women. And a lot of the time, this represents like people not being wary, some of them wearing certain clothing, like more vulgarous outfits. What is your views on feminism? Like, I don't need no man kind of.
Well, I mean, I don't believe anyone needs a man. I believe that you may want a man, but I also don't believe that you should want the same pay if you're not willing to do the same thing.
Could you elaborate on that?
Like everybody's fighting, oh, I want this job or this job. A man can do it, I can do it, but not everybody can do that. So I don't think, no, I don't think that's,
How do
uh,
you feel about trans how do you feel about trans women going into women's sports?
absolutely not because their body is made differently and they have a bigger advantage because their muscles are going to be different. Everything's going to be different.
Do you think that they would excel in those sports?
Yes.
And you think that would be unfair?
Yes.
What are your views on the LGBTQIA plus community?
My views.
Yes, your views.
I mean, I can't exactly judge them because that's not my place, but at the same time, I don't feel like that's what God intended for you to do, but do you?
Do you think that sex ed should be taught in schools?
Yes and no. Not elementary, not young,
Okay.
like older.
For example, my first sex ed class was in fifth grade, fourth or fifth grade. Do you think that is acceptable or no?
Uh, about sixth grade would be fine.
Okay. Um, if you say that sex ed is important, do you think there should be an LGBTQ plus community sex ed class as well to incorporate the other students?
um,
Raise up your mic a little.
um, no,
I'm just gonna make sure your mic is okay.
no.
Okay.
I feel like that's something if their parents want to teach them, they can teach them at home. I don't feel like that needs to be taught in a public school.
So you think that LGBTQ plus communities should not be included in sex ed at school?
Well, they can be included, but like not to that point because that's not. No.
Do you think it should be a separate thing that's off campus, but like a lot of teachers have come together to make a sex ed just for them, and they can choose to go there
Sure.
separately? Okay. Okay, what is the difference to you between gender and sex, or do you think that they are the same thing?
Same thing.
So you do not believe that there is more than two genders.
No.
Okay. So when you say gender, what does it mean for you?
Female, male, or male. Not.
Um and then for sex, do you think it is the exact same thing?
Yes. You go fill out papers. That's what it's gonna say. Well, nowadays, kind of sometimes different, but not always. For the most part.
What is your thoughts about public versus homeschooling?
I think that's your personal choice, your parents' personal choice.
Okay. Do you think it is safer for people to be homeschooled?
Yeah.
Do you think it is
Nowadays,
better for their mental health to be homeschooled?
not always, because some require more socialization than others.
Do you think that school is more important or less important or equally the same important as working in a job?
Like what age?
Around 16.
I feel like school's more important.
Okay. When
Unless you have different circumstances and say you're not living at home and you don't have that luxury and you have, say, you had a kid or something you need to support, or even yourself.
what is your thoughts on abortion?
I don't believe in it. I think it's wrong.
And do you have any personal president prejudice? Do you have any personal reasons as to why you believe that you'd like to share?
No.
Okay. Do you think that Roe v. Wade being overturned is a good thing or a bad thing or a neutral thing? Would you like me to explain what Roe v. Wade is?
I know what it is.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
I just, it's neutral because there are good parts and bad parts because you don't want people out there going to get an abortion and having it done in the back alley and dying. But at the same time, you shouldn't be going to get an abortion just because a lot of people use this birth control.
Okay. Do you think that when it comes to do you think there's any exceptions when it comes to abortion? Like any exceptions for abortion, that you should be able to get one.
Sometimes. So if it is 100% sure that the mom is not going to be able to make it because, and the baby's not either, then yes, that should be able to be done. But I don't believe you should use it for birth control, because if you're going to have sex, you should think about it and not be using that as birth control. You should have thought about that before you decided to have sex.
Okay, and then when it comes to heavier subjects such as rape, what is your thoughts on that? Should they be forced to carry that child? I know that there is also adoption, but what are your thoughts on that?
I feel like they would need a mental evaluation, honestly, because if they're not mentally able to do it, then that's different.
Okay. So,
Like if it's going to cause them to be suicidal or whatever, for real, then yeah, I guess. But
okay. So you would think that only if it's like mentally necessary for them.
yes, because otherwise, every baby's a gift from God.
Okay.
There's no
Um
mistakes.
that is a tough pill. It's a good thing you're not a
Yep.
Cuban. um what is your personal opinion when it comes to gun violence
What do you mean?
within schools?
Well, I mean, obviously it's wrong, but I also believe that teachers nowadays, if they are certified, should be able to have a gun to protect them and the children there if some idiot decides to come into the school and start shooting everybody.
It's a lower percentage, but 10% of teachers have been the ones to go into schools and shoot them up. So do you think that it would still equate?
Okay, I've never heard of that, but yeah, because you have, I would feel like you need to be mentally evaluated, extensive background, all that.
Okay. What do you think is the main thing that divides us within our country?
Uh, I mean, a lot of it's race. Shouldn't
Okay.
be, but it is.
What are
Race,
you,
religion, all those.
do you think that religion, like church and state, should be separated or together? Like laws should be made in the name of a religion.
Well, I mean,
Raise your mic up a little bit.
back in the day, it was in God we trust. The Ten Commandments were at the courthouse, and that was totally fine.
That
But
is still
this,
currently going on.
not always. Oh, they've been removed from a lot of courthouses. The Ten Commandments have been removed from courthouses.
But the in God we trust, because it does
And
not
that's
say
great.
it's
That
certain.
should be going.
Okay. But do you think that in for laws that they should be made in the name of a religion?
No.
And that would also include marriage of LGBTQ plus. Do you agree with that?
Like I said, it's not my place to judge. So
With all due
my
respect, that wasn't the
personal
question.
my personal belief is no, you should not be marrying if you're the same sex. That is not what God intended.
Okay. And the Roe v. Wade was overturned by mostly Christian Supreme Supreme Court um, advocates.
Okay.
Do you think that that was a fair, or do you think that that was biased?
Bias.
Okay. Do you think that was a good bias or a bad bias?
Like I said, that depends on the situation in my eyes. You can't put a blanket on everything. You can't bunch everybody into one group.
Now we're going to go into the last little section, and this is going to be talking about different dating things that are currently going on in our world. What do you think of hookup culture?
I don't think that's a good thing at all. I don't feel like you need to be up going on and hooking up with people just to be doing it. You should get to know somebody. That's not something you just do. You don't give your body away.
Would you agree with the statement that for women it is shameful shameful for them to have sex, as for men it is something to be celebrated?
I mean, I do agree that that's how guys feel and women feel. Yeah, because girls will be like called hoes and stuff if they're out there having sex everywhere, but guys never are.
Okay. Do you know what a situationship is?
A who?
A situationship.
No.
So it is after the talking phase when they're hooking up and they, go out in public together, but they still haven't actually put a um, definitory label on it, such as like, we're boyfriend, girlfriend, that kind of
But they've
thing.
had sex?
Yes, they're in a situationship. So they're past the talking point. They're comfortable with each other. They go out to, lunch or whatever with their friends and they do things together that normally couples would do. However, they still don't have the thing on it.
That's stupid.
Okay. What do you think is more important? Protecting a woman's virginity or protecting a man's virginity?
Both equally. Because if they're not mentally okay with it and it's not, you know what I'm saying? It's equal.
That one actually surprised me a little bit. Um, and last question. Would you say that the current society is in a Great Depression era?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for answering some of these questions. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Is there anything that you want to say before getting off?
Nope.
All right. Thank you for watching. Bye.